Hey Rick, it's your Uncle Raul. I'm out here in San Fernando, California. I thought I'd show you this home here that a wonderful lady used to live in. It's former residence of Martina Zaldivar. She was a good friend of our grandmother, your great grandmother, my grandmother, Josefina Flores, my mom's mom, right? And when my great grandfather moved here, they lived on this street. But that location is gone, that where their home was. They tore it down. But see this yellow home here, yellow painted home with a white trim. It's a beautiful home. This is where my grandma used to come visit. And with Martina, they would go to school together. I have a document from the San Fernando Elementary where she attended the 1922-1923 school semester. And later on in years, after my great grandmother passed away, Julia Diaz, and when my grandmother had been married now and had kids, my mom was born, and Martina, one day, she was telling me that one day I came over to visit with my mom and Josefina, Julio's mom, and she says, "Oh boy, we used to party here, man, with your grandmother." It's just really funny. She says, "Your grandmother Josefina, boy, she would come down here with her husband, and your mother was a little girl, and they would party in the basement. He'd bring his guitar, and he'd be playing all these Mexican songs and just having a good time." So I imagine my grandmother liked to party, because like we were raised by my mom, who was kind of raised by her great grandfather. I mean, by actually her grandfather, Jose Maria Flores, but she had this more of a stoic, kind of serious way. Way grandma was, right? But our grandmother was a real partier, right? But I wanted to tell you, this wonderful lady, Martina Zaldivar, when my mom's first husband passed away, your grandpa, when he died back in 1951, I believe it was August, after I don't know how many months went by, but my mom decided to come back to the United States because she was born here, And I'm here walking toward this mall here. I came to buy some gloves, some work gloves, and they sell these special gloves here that I really like. Well, what happened was my mom told Pancho and Maria, "Hey, I'm going back to the United States, and I got to get my roots established there again." So what happened? Lola, who was living next door. She lived next door to Pancho, her son, right? And my mom asked her, "Can you please come to the border with me? She can vouch for me and say that I was born here, that I was baptized here, and all that, right?" And she said, "No, I'm not going to go up there." I mean, this one, man, Lola, rest in peace, Lola. But my God, she was, that is so cruel that she did that to my mom. I mean, my mom needed help. She wanted to come back here. So this wonderful lady, somehow my mom found a document. I don't know how she did this, but she found this lady. Because Martina Zaldivar, who lived in that yellow house, was her godmother. When my grandmother, when they baptized my mom, in 1928, I believe, or 20, yeah, my mom was born in 27. My grandma, Josefina, selected her to be her grandmother because they're really tight friends, man. They went to school together when they were little girls, and so she naturally, So she went down to the border and vouched for my mom. If she hadn't done that, I don't know how long it would have taken my mom to be able to come back, to the United States, because she went and got the documents. I think what she did, if I remember correctly, my mom said she went and got her birth certificate. Though I think she might have had that, but I think what she got was her baptismal record from the church, Santa Rosa Church, so that she could show it to the border officials and say, "Listen, this is my godmother. Her mother passed away. I'm here to vouching for her. She wants to come back to America. She was born there in San Fernando," and it all just came together. And it's wonderful. This lady was wonderful. She was a lot of fun to talk to. My mom, I took her a few times there. And I remember one time I took her with my tia Josefina, because she knew them when they were little girls, They would hang out there. And in 1932, they were deported. That's the terrible thing, that because my grandfather, Fernando Murillo, though he had TB, you know, he was very sick. And my great-grandfather had already self-deported back to Mexico by 1932 because of the fact that, you know, his wife died here in Watts, Julia Diaz, my great-grandmother. And so he was back in Mazatlan. And so, you know, they eventually were deported illegally because they wanted those lemon picker jobs. They were doing lemon picking. There was a lot of lemon groves out here in San Fernando. And it's a disgusting thing that the government did. The local government, because I'm assuming that who else would have benefited, it was Gabachos. They wanted those lemon picker jobs because there was depression in 1929. My grandfather was working at the Pacific Electric Railway, then he was working as a lemon picker, and that was probably the last job. And then they put him on trains and just sent him back to Mexico illegally. That was disgusting what they did. Now, if you ever go, if you want, you can maybe tell your parents, if they when things open up again, you know, to go to La Plaza or LA Plaza, which is in downtown LA next to Olvera Street. Just ask anybody there. It's a museum dedicated to the Mexicans and the Mexican experience in California, and how Mexicans, their life in California, when it was Alta California, when it was Mexico, and then when it became California, United States, you know. And they have a tree dedicated to the people that were deported from 29, 30, around there, to 1936. 1 million Mexicans were illegally deported, dude. That is a black mark on this state and this country, you know, for doing such a disgusting, dastardly thing, because they were Americans, man. If I could recommend, check out a documentary called The Latino Americans, which goes into that a little bit. Shows how depressed they were because they were being told to go back home. And that wasn't their home. Their home was here, man. You know, the movie stars, all the culture. This is their culture, the American culture. American experience was their experience, not Mexico. You know, and well, you know, if you like, one day, I think I'm gonna buy a copy of that because that is such an essential video, you know. But just tell your parents, if they want to go to the museum one day, they have all sorts of zoot suits. They had Ruben Salazar, you know, that whole thing with the, you know, the thing that happened at the march, you know, for against the war. Bobby Kennedy, all that stuff in the 60s, you know, in the 40s, the Pachuco era, all that is in there. And then, like, back when the Spaniards were here, they have some clothing that they wore in those days. That's the only thing that I liked about Gloria Molina. She was a board of supervisors, and she pushed for this museum. And I think it was a great thing she did because a lot of kids can see what the roots are, you know. And real quick, I'm here at this intersection, here at Rinaldi. You know, Workman turns into Rinaldi. Your dad knows a lot about that because he's driven these streets more than I have. But this area, if you see, it says Nova Storage down there. That's where my storage was when I was homeless, right? Well, I used to walk to my storage from the bus, right? And I used to notice this side of the street, there wasn't paved. There was no cement. There was nothing but dirt and rocks. So people would have to walk on the street, which is a turning lane. See how this guy's turning? That's a turning lane, right? You see those guys coming behind there, those two vehicles? Well, people would be in wheelchairs wheeling their way through there, and man, you could get killed doing that because people come around that corner, right? So I pushed the city council, the board of city council, the state senator, to put a cement there, to put the sidewalk there, because it's underneath the freeway. And what happened? It would rain, and then first of all, you know, and when it was a dry day, it was nothing but rocks, you know, rocks, and you know, and the wheelchairs can't operate like that. You need a cemented surface, right? Well, what happened? They finally, one day, man, after pushing and pushing, these guys showed up. And I did talk to a Caltrans guy. He was a big shot. He was from Sacramento. He came down here. And I said, hey, listen, man. I said, who are you? You're with Caltrans? He says, yes. He says, I need your help. And he goes, what is it? I need to have this paved. And he was blown away because he goes, my God, this side isn't paved, is it? And I said, no, because the other side's paved. See over there? That side was paved, but not this side. So look, they after all the pushing, and you know, they say the squeaky wheel gets the grease, you know, if you complain enough. So they finally installed it back in 2012, around 2011. They finally put this sidewalk in, man. And I feel good about it when I see it, because now these people can ride under here, underneath the freeway underpass, and not have to be on the street, which is dangerous. See here? They would be like right in here on the street. You could get killed here, but these people coming around the bend. Now they can safely go like to North Valley Occupation. And see, look at this guy. See how he's gonna turn? Let's see how fast he's coming. You're on a wheelchair. You can imagine how intimidating that is. And that's my storage right there. It's Nova Storage. That blue, blue background, yellow lettering there. Well, you take care, Rick. Bye.